All right, Sistas fans. Now, I posted the video clip on the Sistas Facebook page. It was the clip from BET, or was it the BET Sistas page? I don't know. But either way, it was Miss Lisa confronting Aaron outside of the salon after his former mother-in-law threatened Karen with a gun, which turned out to be a toy. But from there, threatened to send her son to go after Karen as well. And this scene has been semi-forgotten about, and I can understand why. It was season 1. We have not seen Miss Lisa since season 1, and we're already in the back half of season 3. And honestly, I don't really have too much to say about season 2 Aaron. I will bring up his character from season 2. But for the most part, Aaron was just kind of there. We did learn one or two things about him, but overall, it was more so focused on Zach and then, his dynamic with Karen, then Fatima. Whereas Aaron didn't seem to play as big role in season 2 as he did in season 1. Because in season 2, a lot of people are like, Jeremy, what are you talking about? I like Aaron. He's a good guy. But it's like, folks, do you not remember season 1? So this video, I will probably call it something along the lines of, is Aaron a Gary 2.0? That kind of thing. So without further ado, make sure you hit the thumbs up button to show you like the video, because the more likes the video gets, the more YouTube pushes it out. But more importantly, we got over 70% of viewership coming from those who have not subscribed to the channel. So in order to change that, I'm trying to get at least 50% channel watch time from subscribers by the end of the month. So basically, there's a 7 out of 10 chance that if you're watching this video, you have not subscribed. Just fix that by hitting subscribe and we'll be in the clear. I'm trying to hit 200,000 subscribers by the end of the year, and you can help me do that by hitting that one button. So Miss Lisa was dropping some straight up facts, when she talked about Fawn. And I know it's easy to forget who Fawn was. She killed herself in front of Karen in season 1. Remember how her and Aaron met? I urge you, if you haven't rewatched season 1 in quite a while, both season 1 and 2 are on BET Plus. Just because it really shows how different. Now, character-wise, a lot of them have not changed all that much, but I think when you watch like the camera quality and things like that, it's not that season 1 looked bad at all. I'm not saying that, but that's the one thing I love about Tyler Perry shows, where every season is almost like he steps up his game when it comes to the visual effects. And season 1 definitely looks way different than season 3. So when I look at season 1, Karen and Aaron, how did they meet? I think that Aaron approached her in the grocery store. I think Karen noticed like a man and a woman with their child, and I think Aaron came up, trying to flirt with her, saying something along the lines of, I forgot exactly what he said, but basically he said something sexist, and then wow, every woman has an attitude, and then Karen just went off on him, and then every woman in the damn grocery store like, yeah, you tell him, girl. And then they sat in his van or something, or truck, and they ate ice cream, and that's how they met. And then they went on their first date, and he didn't bring his wallet, and he called his wife, and then it started a whole thing, and Karen just left. Then his wife started to follow Aaron, which led to her coming over to Karen's house a couple times, then over to her job, and then finally she shot herself. Now, when I think about what Miss Lisa said, you're the kind of man that drives weak women insane. Like your wife, you were supposed to be her husband. You were supposed to know she would do something like that, but you didn't care. I think she's speaking volumes on Aaron's character, because Aaron is meant to be this perfect guy. He's tall, handsome, in good shape. He makes decent money. If I remember correctly, he served I don't know. We know he's a pastor, but then we also know he was like in the armed forces in some capacity. I don't know if he was a chaplain, but I do believe he was in, armed forces. And I do believe his wife had an affair with a friend named Skipper when either he was off on duty, kind of like what Nancy did with Richard's father when they were younger. And that's what led to the divorce, because he told Karen on his first date, I'm getting a divorce. And I'm like, Gary, you could, I guess that's how Tyler Perry wrote the character in season 1. It's like, oh, Karen and Andy are the besties out of the Sistas group. And as a result, their relationship dynamics will follow the same kind of vein, where both women are dating men who are married, but to make Aaron seem like the better man in comparison, unlike Gary, who has been saying for like months, like 6 months or so, that he will be divorcing his wife, Jasmine, Aaron does it immediately. He straight up does it within a couple of days of meeting Karen, and ironically enough, goes to her friend Andy in order to do so. So he's a man of his word. But he's also a bit of, maybe the right word here isn't extremist, but he's an extreme kind of guy. Like, if you, I guess you could say, break one of his rules or guidelines of relationships, he's done with you. Like, he said cheating is a no-no, so you had an affair, we're done. And if you want to keep seeing the kids, that means you got to keep taking your medication. You can get the house and whatnot. I don't care. I'm done. Because he said that in season 2, at the wake of his ex-wife, that's when Miss Lisa dropped off Bean's body. He isn't dead, but, dropped off the injured brother at the wake and drove off on a motorcycle after, he got shot up by Karen and whatnot. So what I think is, we don't know a lot about Fawn, because just like the whole Jasmine and Gary thing, or excuse me, the Jasmine and Fawn thing, both women are supposed to be on the edge. I mean, Gary even said that Jasmine and her whole family are like that, and like her and your mother are crazy as hell. So I'm thinking that Aaron probably has something to do with that. Look, I mean, Fawn's mother, her brother definitely seem to be crazy as hell. But what if Aaron had something to do with that with Fawn? Like, given the fact, oh yeah, like Miss Lisa said, he preys on weak women and whatnot. Even though we only have a moment in the trailer for season 3B, there was that scene where Aaron and Karen are on the couch, and Karen says something, but then Aaron says something along the lines, yeah, you have to change that, or that's one thing about you that needs to change. He said it in like a smart ass kind of way, as opposed to a kind person that he usually portrays himself to be. Like, the only time I really think Aaron got kind of harsh with Karen was in season 1, when one of the many times Zach would roll up to her house on his bicycle at that same moment that Aaron was there too. And she just talked him down, and he was just, well, see, that's why I can't. You always got to talk down to me like that. And he keeps on his bike and rolls off. And then Aaron is like, yeah, you know what? If we're ever together, you are not going to talk to me like that, because you tear people down. You don't try to build them up at all. And then he just walks off, and she's like, well, what did I do? So, I think that we're going to see more of the real Aaron as season 3 goes on. And I'm not even going to sit here and say, see, this is what Tyler Perry does. He wants to force Karen and Zach to get back together, so he's going to make Aaron look like a bad guy in comparison to Zach. I don't really think that's going to be the case here, because I feel like we're going to see the real side of Aaron that has always been there, but never really pushed at the forefront. Because something alarming that he mentioned in the last episode, and I've already spoken my piece on that half-ass proposal and the way he wants to just get married for sex. Karen said, we don't even really know each other like that. We don't really know each other that well. Well, I know enough. That is a flimsy foundation of a relationship / marriage. And correct me if I'm wrong, but Karen and Aaron have never officially said, hey, we're boyfriend, girlfriend. They've said, oh, we're seeing each other, we're dating, I want to have sex, But they've never said, let's be in a committed relationship. Because Karen has always been like on a seesaw between Aaron and Zach. Aaron, we know, wants all in, but this dude is already talking about marriage, and it's like, fam, hasn't it only been like a week and some change since your wife killed herself in front of Karen? And that happened like a day or two after you got a divorce. Now you want to just get married again? And wasn't Aaron the one that told Gary early on in the season during the surprise wedding episode? Now, are you saying that you can't be alone or that you don't want to be alone? Because there's a difference. Aaron's doing the same crap with Karen. That's exactly what's happening here. It's the fact that he doesn't want to be alone. And the Gary thing came up again when he mentioned, when I saw you and Zach in that salon, I was just filled with this wave of anger and I just wanted to hurt both of you. And it's like, what the hell? So, or what do you say? Not hurt you, but I want to mess you up. So I'm like, does that mean you want to physically hurt them, shoot them? Or does that mean mess them up in regards to mess up this thing they have going on? So that's why I came over to your place to prove I was a better man than him. Aaron, he has a dark side. I know he's light skinned, but he has a dark side. Sorry, that was a complexion joke. Maybe that was a bit too wrong, but I thought it was funny. I think that this is an interesting twist because I've mentioned this before. Typically in a lot of the older Tyler Perry projects, there's like the running gag that black people bring up. It's like, why is it always the dark skinned dude that's portrayed to be the villain and then the light skinned guy saves the day? It's kind of like the opposite where Gary's meant to be the villain. And to be honest, I'm not the biggest Gary fan, but more often than not, even though he does some shady stuff, Gary has rarely lied to Andy. I feel like, people ignore that because most people want him gone, myself included. But when you really think about it, Gary hasn't lied as much as you would think. And Aaron, he's done so much shady stuff. Because this sounds weird, but Gary has receipts. Even though he has a lot of questionable traits about him, Gary has receipts. Woman on top of you in my room? Sex therapy. Okay, I still have no explanation for the whole gym thing. You got me there. The FBI, the feds arresting him at season 1 for money laundering and whatnot. That was a job by Morris and Jasmine to set me up. Oh, okay, Gary, I got you. Okay, you bastard. You got me there. But Aaron is so shady because everybody's saying the same thing. If Aaron's a pastor, why doesn't he ever invite Karen to his church? Touche. And I'm still wondering where the hell Aaron ran off to the first time that he and Karen had sex. This dude leaves in the middle of the night, doesn't call for like a day, and then comes back up, but never tells her where he was. My guess is this. We know that in the upcoming episode, Karen is supposed to invite Zach to dinner, but I'm guessing he does not take the invite. And I did a whole video talking about the different reasons why she might be asking him out. And I think one of the best or the most reasonable things to speculate, aside from the whole pregnancy crap or money, is the fact that maybe she'll bring up the proposal, or maybe she won't. Maybe she won't even say anything about the proposal at all. She'll call Zach in the hopes that, okay, this is like my one lifeline, my one tether that I'm holding on to, because if the rope breaks or I let go, that means no more Zach and I'm fully focusing on Aaron. I'm just going to fall and let Aaron catch me. No more tug of war between these two. So if he says no or whatever and says, look, I'm moving on, you need to as well, then I feel like that's when Karen's just going to stop letting Aaron chase her and just let herself be caught. But then once she starts to fully be involved with Aaron, that's when she's going to find out who he truly is. And as a result, realize she's in for something that she did not she didn't sign up for. So, it's just like with Gary and Andy. It's like, yeah, I accept this engagement, Gary, you can come stay with me, move in with me. And then what happened? Ex-wife showed up with a gun, comes back home and finds 2 women in the bedroom with Gary. Not to mention looking like a full snack, not a snack, but a buffet in that red lingerie, and Gary doesn't even want to touch her. Wasn't that the night? Yeah, that was the same night that they didn't get married because she said not the right time, and then he decided not to touch her. So I feel like the closer Karen and Aaron get, the more Aaron she's going to see. Yeah, she's seen Aaron naked, but I'm talking about the true vulnerable Aaron on the inside. He's really going to come out. And I feel like as an audience, the more of Aaron we see in terms of his true persona, we could actually get a taste of, oh, damn, no wonder his wife turned out the way she did. Because if you go back to that episode where they signed the divorce papers, Aaron was harsh. Even Andy was like, I forgot what I think Kevin is the name of the actor, but I forgot Fawn's last name. But she's like, Mrs. Blank or Mrs. Fawn, I just want to know, are you being forced to sign these papers or are you doing this of your free will? Because Aaron was like in full rage mode because she betrayed me. No, we're signing these papers. So I think Fawn was probably forced to live the life of a pastor's wife to a T, and her being, as Lisa put it, a weak-minded woman in general. I think Fawn cracked under pressure. I think Fawn had that affair because it's just like the whole pastor's kid. It's like, oh yeah, the pastor's kid, a wild one because they're always living under the thumb of the Bible and whatnot. But then, when they get older and they're on their own, they go bug wild. Look, I went to Liberty and a lot of those kids, some of them were pastor's kids. There were some wild people drinking and smoking. Like, man, what? I'm black. I ain't do none of that crap. But it was wild. So, the pastor's wife or the first wife of a church must be insane, assuming he does really have a church. So I think Aaron pretty much forced Fawn to live this perfect life or be the perfect wife. Wait, wasn't that a movie that KJ Smith played in? I'm pretty sure it was. Or The Available Wife, I forgot. And any slip ups and he would like crack the whip, so to speak. I know that's a bad analogy for a black, yeah, but okay. He would pretty much put his foot down. There we go. Even though Kunta Kinte put his foot. Okay, let me stop with the Medea references to Roots. I think that Aaron wanted this picture perfect wife. Like, he was loving and kind at first, but kind of like what Karen said about Zach. Aaron, you're just like Zach. It started off great, but then as time went on, I saw who he really was. I feel like the same thing is going to happen with Aaron, but it's going to be in a different vein than what Zach did to her. I think that Aaron, like Miss Lisa speculated, pushed his wife to that point where, you take these weak-minded women, you push them into this and that, and then you break them. And then once they're broken, you're done with them. You're ready to move on to the next one. Kind of like what Gary, we got Jasmine, but he actually had a first wife. I mean, sure, it was short-lived, but he had a first wife that Andy did not know about. So I think Aaron is Gary 2.0, believe it or not. So that's all I have for this particular video. Do you think, Miss Lisa did say that Karen is not a weak woman. She's a fighter. She bites just like I do. So I just wanted you to keep that in mind. Don't forget, Aaron might come off as a good guy, but this dude has a dark side to him. Just letting you know. All right, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. As I mentioned earlier in the video, please make sure you like and subscribe. And if you want to donate to the channel, feel free to do so on PayPal or Cash App. Thanks so much for tuning in, and I'll talk to you soon.